I'm stretched out happy, ain't no way, I ain't no trainer. Hopping that double Berto, let them wave and see my game.
Chat. What are we saying? How are we doing? How are we doing? It's getting cold, bro. It is getting cold. We're still in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm about to tap into the hoodie, probably next session, maybe the session after. We're cooked. I say this every video now, but we're absolutely cooked. But you know what? I've finalized a game plan, I believe. Now, am I going to stick to it? I guess that's where we're just gonna have to wait and see. My goal is to, at the moment, I'm pretty much as aggressive as I can be at this body fat percentage, as I've talked about a lot. Probably a little bit too aggressive in the sense of I'm definitely burning through muscle glycogen and water. Remember, there's a difference between losing fat mass and losing scale weight, because you can lose 5 pounds of scale weight relatively quickly, even at a very lean body fat percentage, but you're not going to be able to lose 5 pounds of body fat when you only have 7 pounds of body fat on your frame to lose until you get to stage condition, right? So it becomes a balancing act of not starving yourself, not just doing an infinite amount of steps, and hanging around where you're going to be able to lose the most amount of fat per day, per week, with retaining your lean tissue. Because if you do end up burning into lean tissue, which again is not it's not easy to do. Like, your body doesn't want to go to amino acids, it wants to go to muscle glycogen, and wants to use your fat stores. So your body's not stupid in that sense. So your greatest indicator of you maintaining muscle tissue on a diet is going to be your ability to uphold your past performance. So if your gym performance is remaining consistent on exercises that you've had in your program for the for a long period of time, then you're going to know that chances are you're not losing muscle tissue. Because it's different if you chose new exercises, because then obviously you're going to have that rapid strength increase due to coordination or neurological adaptations. But if you're running like a preacher curl and you're within, say, 5 to 10% of your peak strength throughout the duration of your diet, you can probably not guarantee, but you could say with some certainty that you haven't lost any tissue. So with that being said, my goal is to, I'm at around 16 to 1700 calories per day. It is really low, especially for my body weight, and around 20,000 steps. This does put me in a little bit over of a 700 calorie deficit. Now the reason why is because I would assume that my maintenance is around 23 to 2400. And the reason why it's so low is due to adaptive thermogenesis. I'm quite lean. I'm the leanest I've ever been. I would probably put myself just around 10% body fat, maybe ever so slightly below. There's still more to come off. My lower back isn't dialed in. My chest is not dialed in. I hold a lot of fat in my chest. My glutes, obviously, and my legs, and my arms. My core is pretty tight. But for those of you who don't know, I actually hurt my chest this year a couple months ago doing something stupid. It was either via an isometric or like a pullover, and it got so bad that it was crazy bruised, and the discoloration was insane. I don't know if you guys remember that. Holy idiots, man. Anyway, I definitely notice my right versus left pec, and I can feel it, and for some reason now I've been feeling it more than ever. And I think what's happening here is that I might have a slight tear in my right pec. Now, I'm not one to Google doctor myself, But it is quite possible. Now, this is going to be something that I'm going to deal with later on. And again, it's nothing new. It's just an old injury. But I can see it when I'm posing. And the thing is, once you have injuries like this, once you have injuries like this, it's very easy for water retention to mask your progress, i.e. your fat loss. So that could possibly be what's happening. Especially one of my goals was to get my chest diced. Like, I want to have cross striations on my chest, and that's going to be a pretty good indicator that you are pushing 10% and below. And it's just something that I don't have in non-favorable lighting. In favorable lighting, yeah, I have chest striations, but in your natural lighting, which is where you want to look your leanest, I still, my chest is decently fat. So I mean, I say that relatively, right? But I do believe that some of that inflammation is obviously causing some water retention, and that is holding back the look. So we'll see. That's just something to kind of think about. Outside of that, I've got no pain really. I do feel like a little bit of a bump, so it's definitely something that I'm going to get checked out in the future. It's nothing crazy. Again, this is an old injury. It's nothing new, so I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, outside of that, everything's going good. Training's going good. My training performance is equal, if not slightly getting better. I can't see. Hold up. There we go. It's much better. But yeah, so training's going good. When you're at this point in a diet, I don't enjoy training. Training for me is fun because of the progress, right? And when you're eating, nothing, you're eating barely any calories, training's not fun because you're not progressing too much. You're progressing slowly, sure, or you're maintaining lifts, but am I really going to be building muscle eating this little calories, especially at my advanced stage? Probably not. And if anything, it's going to be extremely minuscule. So it's just like, think about that. When you go to the gym, you're going to the gym to just retain what you have, kind of just counting down the days. That's the worst part about the diet, is just the whole like, oh, I can't wait till it's over, or like I'm so regimented that I have a meal at this point and the same meal at this point, which I don't mind eating the same thing, but it's like counting the hours between meals and counting the days until it's, you know what I mean? So the motivation is there. I mean, the look, I would expect to change more drastically week by week, but again, your mind plays tricks on you, right? Every single time that you diet down, especially if you're losing a significant amount of weight and therefore body fat, your mind plays tricks on you, and you always think that you are fatter than you actually are. And then once you kind of eat at maintenance for a little bit, and then if you took a bunch of pictures or videos and you kind of reminisce back, or you look back, you really notice those changes. And I can see it in my face. Every time I walk past my car window and I look at my face, I see those cheekbones, right? So it is what it is. I've set this goal for myself, and I'm not one to shy away or back down from one of these goals. It's kind of hard because technically I'm doing a prep, but I'm not going to compete at the end. I'm honestly only doing this because I've always wanted to get diced. I've always wanted to get as lean as I possibly can, look like a bodybuilder in the sense of, you got all the cuts, all the lines, and yeah, so it's definitely something I've always wanted to do, and we're gonna do it. Anyway, back to my plan. So my plan is to eat around 1700 calories, maybe even dip down to 1500. Even if that means I'm gonna burn through some muscle glycogen, I could always have a refeed, as again, nobody needs a refeed unless you are below 10% body fat. Now, a refeed can help you psychologically in terms of your adherence to the diet. You could have something you could look forward to, especially if you're a big foodie. But in terms of needing one, let's get this straight. Unless you are below 10% body fat, you are not depleted in the sense of you needing a refeed in order to maintain or upkeep training performance. So that is a cope. You do not need a refeed, you don't need a cheat day, you don't need a cheat meal, you just need to lock in and you got to grow up. And I'm sorry that needs to be said, because I feel the amount of times that I've seen people that are, you know, not even like 15% body fat talking about needing a refeed. It's quite ridiculous, not gonna lie. But anyway, with that being said, so it's perfectly fine to go a little bit more aggressive. You definitely want to be a little bit wary, especially as you get closer to, you know, below 10%, because you are going to be more at risk of muscle loss, muscle wasting, etc. So you do want to ride that fine balance between maximizing fat loss versus just losing scale weight. I want you guys to really understand that there's a big difference between losing weight on the scale and losing body fat on your body. They're not exactly always going to be correlated, and the same reason why you don't need a surplus, or you're not looking at necessarily gaining weight consistently as a proxy for growth, because your body weight is heavily influenced by the amount of glycogen and therefore water you are holding, right? So just because your weight goes up or down, this could just be strictly due to a change in water weight or a change in flatness by having less carbohydrates, or potentially you ate different foods that maybe contain more fiber, so you're holding on to more food volume, there's more waste, etc. There's a bunch of different factors, which is why having a coach is crucial, so you don't make rash decisions. Now, with that being said, now I always put this in here, and they're both white, and I never know which one's my pre-workout. So let's see, did I guess right this time? Hell no. I also need gas. If I don't make it, send an SOS. Here we go. Oh. It's delicious. It's delicious. Back to my plan. So I'm gonna try to go as long as I can this October. Keep chipping away at this aggressive rate, which is probably too aggressive, but like I said, I've got Canadian Thanksgiving coming up in a week or two, so I can have an off-plan meal, and that off-plan meal is going to act as a refeed, because I'm going to keep fats relatively low. Again, a refeed, what is a refeed? A refeed is a way to refill muscle glycogen. Muscle glycogen is going to be carbohydrates. A refeed is not eating burgers and pizza and chips and cookies. Okay, let's grow up. We are adults here, well, hopefully. So a refeed is going to be a strategic either meal or potentially day where you're eating closer to maintenance, if not slightly above, so you're in a slight surplus, and the additional calories come from carbohydrates. Your goal is to still keep fats low, keep protein the same, and you're just eating more carbohydrates. And the reason for that is to refill muscle glycogen, so you're going to be fuller, you're going to have better training performance, and that's going to carry you throughout the next week or 2 weeks. I think that once you do get below 10%, having more frequent refeeds is a solid idea. And one strategy is having a back-to-back refeed, as that's probably what's going to allow you to actually refill the tank a little bit. So say you're on full body 3 times a week, which would be an excellent way of training if you're in a deficit because of the increased atrophy rates. You would train Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday through Friday, you would have low calories. You would create that deficit, and then on Saturday and Sunday, you would have refeed days where you're eating at maintenance or slightly above. Therefore, your weekly deficit is accounted for, so you're still losing your desired amount of body fat each week. But then you have that 2-day refeed where it kind of refills you and you have enough energy and glycogen to have those solid training sessions Monday through Friday, and then you rinse and repeat. Again, I have to reiterate that this is only going to apply to people who are below 10%, and that is extremely lean, very lean. Okay, so we haven't even tapped, like, if you guys look at me and you think that I'm crazy lean right now, we have not even tapped into that. My training performance is fine. So it's about being mentally resilient. Now, someone talked about mental health in my last video in one of the comments. Now, obviously mental health is huge, right? You being psychologically sound. And now obviously it's multifaceted and there's different avenues of mental health, but the main one that I see is, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, one thing that people always do is compare, right? You compare yourself to other people. You think, why am I here and they are there? What am I doing wrong? Well, sometimes you're not doing anything wrong, and genetics are really that powerful, right? You could be doing everything right by the book, and there's nothing that you could do in your life that would speed up your process, and the only thing that you need is time. Obviously, you know, the cliche, comparison is the thief of joy. It's fine to compare yourself, especially if you are, you know, in a competitive sport and you're trying to see, like, okay, well, this guy is this height and this guy is this weight, he's this body fat percentage and he's this FFMI, but no two people are gonna look the exact same. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. You don't have to be the biggest, you don't have to be the most shredded, you just have to bring your best look. So whenever you're thinking about making progress in the gym or you're trying to assess your physique, do not compare yourself to other people. If I compared myself to other people, listen, there's like 15-year-olds that bench like 5 plates nowadays. People are crazy. I don't know what you guys are feeding the kids in the States, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? It's really cool to see. And you know, there's tons of people that absolutely dwarf me. My physique is not even that good. It's not even good. It's not even that it's that good. It's not even good. But I don't care, because at the end of the day, I compare myself today to what I was a year ago, and I look a lot better. Now, sure, am I smaller? Well, in sheer body mass, sure, but I look a lot better because I'm a lot leaner. So don't necessarily worry. That's another thing too, is people put too much emphasis on their body weight. Sure, it's nice, you know, I'd love to be 200 pounds and 7% body fat, but you know what? It's not in my cards. What am I gonna do? It's not in my cards. Am I ever gonna get like that? Who knows? And this is another thing I always get asked. 2 things that honestly are irrelevant is your body fat percentage, because nobody knows. Even having an experienced coach assess you, there's gonna be margin of error, and it could be huge, and it doesn't even matter. It's like you're chasing this arbitrary number on the body fat percentage scale when it doesn't even matter. Just look at, you want the look to be good. That's it. And then the other thing is your fat-free or your FFMI, right? Like, who cares what your FFMI is? Do you like the way you look? If not, get to work, right? At the end of the day, everybody can make progress. Everybody can look good. Everybody can develop a solid physique that looks good and that you can be proud of. It just depends on how long is it going to take and what's it going to look like. Like I said before, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. So no matter where you are currently in your physique development, it doesn't matter. I guarantee you, I promise you that you can and you will develop an impressive physique if you put in enough time and effort. Doesn't matter whether you train optimally or not optimally. Time is the most important factor when it comes to developing a solid physique, enhanced or not. So consistency, effort, adherence, dedication, these matter more than anything. So hopefully that helps, because trust me, I've compared myself, I've gotten down, and I've looked at other people and thought, like, wow, like, you know, this guy's got 30 pounds of muscle on me and he's 19 years old and he's natural. But it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there and mope, or are you gonna work on what you have right now. You're gonna play with the cards that you've been given. So that is my advice for you, is don't worry about what other people are doing, worry about what you're doing, okay? Let me take another sip. We're not done yet. Everyone's asking, training videos. I keep telling you guys, I know it sucks, but I gotta finish the diet, man. Someone asked me on TikTok, like, oh, where have you been? I haven't seen your videos. I've been taking some time, not time off, but I've just been like, I'm known for spamming TikTok, posting like 50 videos a day. And when I'm dieting, I don't have the mental capacity to do that, especially these videos. These videos are not easy for me to do. They're definitely something that I have to force myself to do. And I would love to make more educational content and, you know, use my nice camera that I have at home. I even have the Osmo Pocket. I'd love to bring that into the gym and create videos there, but I just don't have it in me right now. You guys are gonna have to be patient. I will be bringing out some really interesting stuff, some training vlogs. I will touch on how to program slightly, you know, and obviously I'm not going to program for you individually because this is what I do for a living, right? If anyone's interested in working with me, you guys want to fast track your progress, then go to my TikTok or Instagram. I have a link tree. Coaching is my #1 thing in my link tree. Click that. It takes you to my WhatsApp, and you can sign up for coaching. And then that way I will provide you the best information and advice I possibly can to allow you to reach your goals in the quickest, most efficient manner that suits you and your goals. But outside of that, training stuff will come. I feel like I've touched on what my plan is this whole video, but I haven't even told you. It's essentially, I'm going to go as aggressive as I can for the next couple weeks, and then I'm going to pull back. I'm going to bring my calories up, bring my steps down, reduce some fatigue, and just lower my rate of loss significantly and kind of cruise through November, because in all honesty, my bottleneck at the moment is time. I want to get leaner, and I'm not going to be satisfied if I call the cut now. So for me to get leaner, I need time. I need weeks. I don't necessarily want to diet through December because it's just too much. If I was trying to compete, then sure. I'm not trying to get show ready, but I'm trying to get in striking distance so that when I do decide to reverse out of it and look to maintain, I'm going to be hovering around 8 to 12% body fat year round. My goal is to go from 8%, and obviously due to human error, the goal is to maintain your body fat percentage, but chances are you are going to overeat, and you will accrue some body fat. It's just much better to accrue it at a leaner body fat percentage, and then that way when you diet, you're going to spend less time dieting. And then the diet won't have to be as hard. You don't have to lose 40 pounds. You have to lose 10 pounds. You know how easy that is? Boom, 10 pounds, maybe even less, maybe 8 pounds. So just like how, say there's 5 effective reps in a set, you have a rep range, right? And you go from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8. The same thing is with your body fat percentage. You have a body fat range. Instead of, like, say I want to maintain 8%, well, let's open that up. Let's go from 8 to 12, because due to human error, you're probably going to gain some body fat, which is perfectly okay. Just because a surplus is not needed to maximize growth, it doesn't mean that I don't want to enjoy food, and obviously I want to enjoy food. So the goal is to go from 8 to 12 or stay within that range. Once I reach the top end of that range, cut back down to 8%, and then rinse and repeat until I'm ready to compete, because starting your prep at around 12% body fat is ideal. That's where you want to be. You want to start your competition prep as lean as you possibly can, whilst having spent the most amount of time not in a deficit. Ideally 6, 7, 8, 9 months plus, eating at maintenance, building up your metabolism, building your muscle. That way you are in a solid position to get yourself absolutely diced on high calories, low expenditure, low cardio, which is expenditure, so that you're able to upkeep the highest quality of training performance throughout the duration of your diet, which is going to lead to the most amount of muscle retention. Because yes, muscle retention matters. It's not just a game of losing body fat, it's a game of losing body fat and retaining the muscle that you've built. Anyway, I've yapped long enough. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic start to your week. It is Monday. I've been toying with the idea of potentially doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday and taking the weekend off. I might do it, I might not. I haven't decided yet, but with that being said, I will see you guys on Wednesday, hopefully, if I can. But yeah, code FBEOD, support your boy, buy some Ekko products. They're the best in the game. The clothes are insane. Hanley, polos, date night, you know what I'm saying. Grab Ekko Light. It's the best product they sell. Dethroner. I use these products all the time. Ekko Z's, creatine, you name it. Ekko is peak. But yeah, much love. Thank you for listening and watching. Peace out.